Namaste. If you have heard my first part for the translation of Ganesha Atharvashesha, you would have understood the meaning of the Shanti part with which the Ganesha Atharvashesha starts. And now let me begin a quick explanation of the Nirgun Upasana part of Ganesha Atharvashesha. Essentially, it's for those who want to contemplate on and meditate on the essence of Lord Ganesha without being focused on the external characteristics of the deity. So let's begin. What's this Nirgun Upasana all about? It starts with again Omkar, the origin of all origins, the sound of the origin of all origins. And it says Om Namaste Gadapataye. You know, in our Indian Vedic culture, we had this practice of bowing to any person in front with hands folded and touching each other, the palms touching each other, and saying Namaste. Namaste basically means I bow to that. Te is that, Nama is bow. Then why would somebody say Namaste if I was to go to somebody else and say, hey, I bow to that? Why would I do that, right? It basically, again, is a very poetic way of always remembering that whoever we meet is just a mere reflection of that divine entity which kind of reflects in me as well. So it's a way of recognizing that you and me are one and the same because we both are just reflections of that one single entity, one single divine entity. And how does it come into being? Namaste means I bow to that, but while I do that, I close my one palm against the other by saying that, okay, the reflection, you are just a reflection of the divine entity that exists, and thereby I close my both hands and say, while I bow to that, I recognize that that also is reflected in you and me, and when we both meet, we are just meeting as reflections of the same divinity. So you and me both are same. It's a very, very deep way of unification. That's our Vedic culture, and we should be very proud of it. And that's how it starts. It says Om Namaste Ganapataye. Now it says I bow to that Ganapati who you are. And it further says Om Namaste Ganapate Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi. You Pratyaksham in fact are Tattvam Asi. The core, the fundamental, the root of everything. Tattvam, the core of all that exists in the universe is you. Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. Tvameva kevalam kartasi. You are the only core reason of everybody's existence, of every existence. Tvameva kevalam dhartasi. Tvameva kevalam hartasi. You are someone who maintains everything that's there in the universe, and you're also somebody who destroys everything that's there in the universe. Tvameva sarvam khaluidam brahmasi. You are also the only one, the core Brahman, the core divinity that exists in every single entity of the universe. Tvameva sarvam khaluidam brahmasi. What exists in everyone, that Brahman is you. It says, Tvameva sarvam khaluidam brahmasi tvam sakshad atmasi nityam. That you, in fact, are actually the Atman that resides in every living being. Rutam vachmi, satyam vachmi. Rutam means I say what I feel from my heart. Satyam vachmi, I say what is true. Rutam vachmi, satyam vachmi. Avatvam mam. Ava means protect. Tvam means you. Mam means me. Protect me. Avatvam mam. Avavaktaram. The one. So protect the one who's speaking. Avashrotaram. Protect the one who's listening. Avadataram. Avadhataram. Protect the one who's giving and protect the one who's taking. This is being said in a context where there's a yajna going on, or there's a Vedic class going on, and there's a professor or a guru who's actually teaching someone. So he's the one who's giving knowledge, and there are students who are actually taking that knowledge. So it's been said that protect the one who's speaking, that is protect the guru, and protect the one who's taking the knowledge. So protect the recipient, the students as well. Avatvam mam, avavaktaram, avashrotaram, avadataram, avadhataram, avanuchanam, avashishyam. And protect the ones who are reciting, repeating after the guru, the shishyas, the students as well. Avanuchano shishyam. अव पश्चातात्, अव पुरत्तात्, अव उत्तरातात्, अव दक्षिणातात्. So protect me from all the directions. Pashchatat from Paschim, Purattat from east, Uttaratat from north, Dakshinatat from south. So protect me from the north, south, east and west. Avuttaratat, Avadakshinatat, Avacha Urdhvatat from up, Avadharatat from the down. Sarvato Mam Pahi Pahi Samantat. Protect me from all the directions, please. Tvam Vangmayastvam, Tvam Chinmayastvam. So all that's there in the scriptures is you. Tvam Anandamayastvam. All the happiness that exists, the pleasure that exists is again you. Tvam Anandamayastvam. Tvam Brahmamayaha. You are the form, the Brahman that exists in everybody else. Tvam Sachidanandat Vidyosi. The extreme pleasure that one can get, the spiritual pleasure that one can get after deep meditation and practice, that happiness is you. Tvam Sachidanandat Vidyosi. Tvam Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvam Jnanamayo Vijnanamayosi. So you are the true knowledge. Now Dhyan and Vijnan are two different things. Vijnan is the Dhyan or the information or the knowledge that you get through your intellect. Vishesh Dhyan is Vijnan or Viched Dhyan is Vijnan. Intellect cuts. Intellect is basically an instrument which dissects, and the more you dissect any information, the more knowledge you get about that particular thing. And the principle of dissection is a scientific inquiry which the modern world is used to, and that Vijnan is also you, as well as Jnana, which is typically a spiritual knowledge, which is not formed through dissection but by experience. That knowledge is also you. So it is saying every knowledge in the world, whether it is by dissection or by experience, Jnana or Vijnan, it is you. Jnanamayo Vijnanamayosi. Sarvam Jagdam Tatto Jayate, Sarvam Jagdam Tattastishtati. The entire world, Jagdam Sarvam Jagdam Tatto Jayate, Sarvam Jagdam, the entire world actually is based on you. Tattastishtati, the entire world is created by you. Tvai Laimeshyati, the entire world is destroyed by you. And Tvai Pratyeti, in the entire world, I see your reflection. Tvam Bhumira Apo Nalo Nino Nabaha. Bhumihi, Aap, Anila, Nabha. Which means that all the five elements that exist, which is the earth, fire, water, wind and ether, Akash, all of it is yours. Tvam Bhumira Apo Nalo Nino Nabha. Tvam Chatvari Vakpadani. See, this is why it is a very beautiful poetry which sums up the Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda points to lot of detailing about the way the universe is. Now it says, Bhumira Polino Tam Chatvari Vakpadani. In our Vedas, there are 4 different types of communication. The first communication is Vaikhari, which is an external communication. Now that I'm talking to you, I'm talking in Vaikhari. The other is Madhyama, which is a communication that happens in my mind. When I read something, when I think about something, I think in terms of words. And any communication that exists in terms of words, but in your mind, it is actually Madhyama. Then there is Pashyanti, your subconscious mind, the one which is observing everything through your senses. It's not just Pashyanti means see, but it's everything that's being taken in through your 5 senses: the touch, the touch, the sound, the sight, the taste. All the senses that are the smell, all that's going in, it is being processed in some way, and that information is being used by your body as well. And that language of communication is nothing but Pashyanti. And then there's a language which is beyond all this and which is a spiritual awareness, the consciousness, the language in which the consciousness speaks. It is called as Para, because it is beyond a normal average human being. And all these 4 Chatvari Vakpadani, these 4 different, our ancient culture had actually dissected and studied all these 4 different very specific types of languages, and all these 4 were deeply explained in Atharva Veda, and Atharva Shirsha is actually just summing up that all these 4 distinct languages is you when it says that Chatvari Vakpadani. Tvam Gunatrayatitaha, Tvam Dehatrayatitaha. So there are 3 types of gunas as well, which is Sattva, Raja, Tama. There are 3 types of gunas in every human being. People with more Sattva guna are typically people who are law-abiding, who by default are good to others, who wouldn't put somebody else in danger, who wouldn't do anything wrong for others, for any, even for their own selfish interest. The Rajas, people with high Rajas guna would actually be the achievers. They would be the ones who'll put in as much effort as they can to get things done. They'll be the leaders who'll pull the followers in to achieve a certain outcome or an intent that they have. And tamas are the people who have desire, who are selfish, who need something, and they may or may not necessarily be the ones to work towards it, but they constantly have too many desires, and they typically don't have anything that quenches this desire. If they fulfill one desire, they typically have another coming in. And every human being has all these three gunas. It's just that which guna surfaces at what time results in the way they handle their life. And hence the Atharvaveda says all these three gunas is actually you. It's all, the life is reflecting your own glory through all these three gunas that exist in every individual human being. Dehatrayatitaha. Our human body is also made up of three different layers. The first layer is the sthula deha, which is nothing but the gross body that I see. My skin, my body, my organs, my bones, my ligaments, the nerves, the neurons, and everything. All that's there, the physicality of my body, is the sthula deha. Then there's sukshma deha, which is nothing but the consciousness that drives the power, the prana that drives all of the life that's within me. And the third is the karana deha, the actual part of the divinity that reflects in me when I'm living. And these three dehas, these are the ones that lead a life to fulfillment in some way. So gunatrayatitaha, in all these three gunas I see you. Dehatrayatitaha, in all these three different body layers I see you. Kalatrayatitaha, the past, the present and the future, the three time forms that exist, I see you. Avasthatrayatitaha. So there are three types of avasthas, which is awakeness, dream state, and the sleeping state. So there are three different types of avasthas in which a human mind exists. It's either awake and alert, jagrata, or it is dreaming, swapna, or it is sleeping, sushupti. And all these three avasthas are you, and all these three avasthas have been deeply studied, contemplated on, and talked about in Atharvaveda. But the Shirsha is just quickly referencing it, kind of a guide which is giving you, do you remember there are three avasthas? These are the three, right? So avastha trayatitaha. Tvam yogino dhyayanti nityam. You are the one on which the yogis dhyayanti nityam. You are the one that yogis constantly think about. So it says dehatrayatitaha, kalatrayatitaha, mula adhara sthititun nityam. That you are the one who is situated in the Mooladhara, the chakra. So there are multiple chakras in human body as per our Vedic scriptures or the yogic science. And the base or the foundational structure is nothing but Mooladhara chakra. And essentially it said that the Lord Ganesha, the deity, is the one who controls that Moola Adhara. Mool Adhara means the foundational chakra. If that chakra itself isn't activated or rightly tuned, your entire life is going to go for a toss. And that is why Ganesha is treated as the Lord or the deity that needs to be prayed for anything, because it's the foundational deity. So Moola Adhara Sthititu Sunityam. There are three types of powers as well. Which are these three types of powers? The first is the power of idea. The second is the power of action. And the third is the power of commitment. And that's again, see, our modern management science also talks about these things, that idea in itself is nothing. Only when an idea meets an action, you get an opportunity. And when that opportunity is committed on, when the third power meets, that is when actually a business comes in, right? Anything that you do, you can actually achieve an outcome on it only when first you have an idea that, okay, I need to do something. You have to have a desire of something, which is karma, right? Then you have to do something about it. Just having an idea isn't enough. You have to do something about it. You have to attempt, you have to put in efforts, right? And the third, so calm. The second is karma. Karma Shakti, and the Icha Shakti, Karma Shakti, and the third is nothing but the Jnana Shakti, which also is, the commitment, conscious commitment, which actually results in the final achievement, right? So, in a nutshell, the three Shakti Triyatmaka, Tyam Yogino Dhyanti Nityam, Tvam Brahmas, Tvam Vishnus, Tvam Indras, Tvam Agnis, Tvam Vayus, Tvam Suryas, Tvam Chandramas, Tvam Brahma Bhurguha Suram. Basically, it's saying all the deities that typically are prayed on, whether it is the Brahma, the Indra, the Vayu, that is the wind, the fire, the earth, and Bhu Bhuva Swaha, which means this world, the universe, and beyond the universe. All these three things, it's nothing but you. Brahma Bhurguha Suram. Ganadim Purvam Ucharya Varnadin Tadanantaram. And from this particular shloka onwards, there's a description about the Ganesh Vandana itself. And that's something I'll put it on in the next video, which is Ganesh Vandana and also the Saguna Upasana, which is how a Ganesha is actually described. That's something I'll post in the next video. Keep watching. Thank you. Bye.